My intention is that we're following a guide who, in his following him, I get there is safety in this world and the next. Does that fall in that intention, or that's also considered expecting something in return?
We like to give this kind of philosophy type questions. I even gave a very clear example of what is it that you want. What example did I give? And this is an example from Hazrati Rabi'atul Adawiyah that we say all the time. What is that?
Expecting reward as a
expecting reward. To do something to get a reward for it. You do this, you can go to this paradise. You do this, you can get this. Right? Or
punishment.
Or punishment. You want punishment?
If you don't serve this, then you get punished. Or the fear.
You do something, not that you do something in order to get something, or you don't do something in order to run away from the punishment. Right? So you're following a guide, you're asking for safety. What is that safety for? Safety from whom? It's you can answer that. Safety from yourself, safety from evil. To be in the safety of Allah. That is different. That is not asking for something in return, as in, I want paradise, I want this many, let's say, palaces, I want this much more come. As people who are doing anything in the space of this earth, they expect something back in return. Yes? It is also a lazim, it is also a certain law that is in this world. Okay, I help you, you help me. That is one level. That level, we cannot knock it down also. In order to reach to the highest levels, you start from the lower level first. You cannot now go to the highest level and say, this lower level is no good. You understand where it is. Then you help people who wants to go to the higher level to say there's another level above that. But in order to go to that level above, you have to step away from here. You have to some way, somehow, not deny it, but to step away from it. You understand? You cannot get stuck there. So you're following a guide, and you're asking for safety. What does that safety means to you? Now, if you think safety from the hellfire and to go to the Jannat, still amounts to the same thing, no? If it's safety away from the evil of yourself, as this is the prayer of the Prophet, save me from the evil of myself. Safety from that, then that is endless. It is endless. Once you understand yourself, he who knows himself knows his Lord. This is something that the Prophet taught. This is something that all prophets they taught. This is something that people from different races, different cultures, different belief systems, it comes to that too, self-knowledge. It is the highest knowledge next to the knowledge of your Creator. That's why there are many Sufi orders, and every Sufi order, it is concentrating on zikr also, remembrance, yes? Like what we just did, that is remembrance. Some they remember sitting, some they remember standing, some they remember whirling. Just as the whole universe is, they are whirling and they're turning in the remembrance of their Lord, taking power from that remembrance. Yes, remembrance, zikr is very important in our Sufi way, but this Sufi way is not only the zikr. In fact, the Sufi way, it is based on what? What does that mean, sohbat? It is based on sohbat. Sohbat means what? Companionship. Companionship with whom now? You can make companions with your shaitans, with your ego. You can make companionship with evil ones. You can make companions with laziness and heedlessness and arrogance. What we said before, Allah is saying, follow those who ask you no fee and who themselves they are rightly guided. Companions. Now, sohbat, companionship, to be close. Who are we going to make our companions now? Don't jump straight to Allah. No. Allah actually sent people to the face of this earth to say, follow them and they will lead you to me. They are not the object of worship. They are a direction. A direction is not an object of worship. A lot of Muslims, they don't understand. They see the Kaaba And they see Muslims facing the Kaaba, going down, bowing down, and they think that there is their God. He says, no, this is just a direction. As Hazrat Ali has said, the man's religion is the religion of his friends. Whoever he hangs out with, whoever that he spends time, that he's in love with, that is his way of life, that is his religion, that is his belief system. So now, if you're asking me, worshipping Allah with sincerity, the highest level, not to ask anything in return. What I mean is not to ask for something that is tangible, not even something that is intangible, saying, I want more love, I want more this, I want that. To say, worship Allah because He deserves to be worshipped. Worship Allah for His pleasure. Now we are coming, as I said before, that's why you cannot enter to tariqat without understanding what is love. Just looking at the object that you love, the person that you love is going to give you that sustenance. Now when you start serving the one that you love, loving the one that you love, disappearing into that one's oceans now, and saying that you exist, I don't. That time, as the Prophet is saying, Hazrat Maulana, the saints they are saying, you are separated, you're a drop. But when that drop enters into the ocean, you become the ocean. You become a part of the ocean. So our aim is the pleasure of our Lord. Our aim is to return to Him. You understand? So that's different. Don't take it always to a philosophy. This is not a philosophy. Asking for safety, it is not the same as saying, okay, I prayed, so I'm this good, I'm this holy, I do this much. Be fair. Moments where you forget about Allah, your station also falls. The moments where you disobey, the moments when you worship your own ego, the moments when you are angry and you're proud and you're stubborn and you're arrogant. Those moments, those qualities of the nafs, there are hundreds and thousands of tricks and traps. It opens up from those four categories. If you know yourself, then you're going to be very careful. People are not going to detect, but you will know. And once you know yourself, you will know others too. Then you will understand. Then it is up to you. If you're given that permission, you'll say something, you'll do something. If you're not given that permission, don't interfere too. Don't interfere. Be busy with yourself. So, we all ask for safety from ourselves, because safety is also one of the names of Allah. Yes? What is that? We just recited His names tonight. Salam, peace, safety, to return to Him. So, that's okay. Our whole aim now is to be in safety here and hereafter, to save ourselves from ourselves, evil that is within and without. There is. We are not in paradise. This is not our home. We did not originate from here. We came, as Maulana is saying, I came from somewhere and I'll return that. Of that I'm sure. We came from there, we're going to return there. All this fight, all this horror, all this bloodshed, all this violence is for this. This is not even our home. And in the Sufi way, this is dunya, which is one of our enemies. Dunya. First it is the ego, nafs. The ego. That is, if you don't think your ego is worse than shaitan, worse than all the evil people, not to say, oh, this one is evil, this one is bad, I'm not like that. No, you share the same characteristics. Just opportunity is not given to us, that's all. So many people, they don't have a gun in their hand when they're angry. If they have a gun in their hand when they're angry, imagine what is going to be done. You understand? So first it is the nafs. There is the ego. This is the most dangerous that Allah has put into each and every one, regardless of your race, your color, your religion. Everyone has that. Man and woman, they all have that. We have that. It's inside. And it is this continuous struggle against our ego that Allah has put in us. He has not put in angels, He has not put in animals. Nowhere He has put, except for mankind. But He has also given us the ruh, the spirit, that is in agreement with Allah. The spirit that is higher than the angels, that the angels have to prostrate down to, because the spirit is coming from Allah. The angels did not come from Allah. Now this struggle against our nafs, the struggle against our ego, this is the holy struggle. This is the jihad that is holier than any armed struggle against anything. This is when the Prophet says, we have returned from the small jihad against tyranny and to the bigger jihad. And they ask him, what can be a bigger struggle? He says, struggle against your ego, to your nafs. It has all the characteristics of all evil, all the characteristics of all badness, everything that it has. We have that potential. That's why it's very naive for people to think, how can mankind do it? Mankind can, it's always been. We have the capacity to go as high, higher than the angels and lower than the animals. But Allah did not leave us alone. This is the whole point. As our Shaykh said, even if He did not send any prophets or any books, just with our intelligence, just with our heart, we will know what is right and wrong. And we will know how to return back to Him. Nafs, shaitan, our first enemy, is not the enemy of Allah. Don't think Allah, the most majestic, has an opposite, has an enemy that is going to threaten Him. Shaitan is also a creature of Allah. And shaitan disobeyed Allah one time, but our ego disobeys Allah continuously. That's why for us to say that we are better than shaitan, be very careful. Shaitan disobeyed Allah, and he's using his logic saying that I don't bow down to anyone except to you. Very slick. Like today's people, they're very slick. When I catch them somewhere, they're very slick. Oh, I'm doing this because of this. I'm doing this because of this. But he disobeyed. And the saints are saying, even if Allah says, bow down to that stone or that dog or this or that, because Allah is saying it, we bow down. There is a secret that is there. The angels, they understand the ruh, the spirit. But shaitan denies the spirit, he only sees the form. So now we come. What kind are you? Are you concentrating on the form? Are you looking behind the form? This is what spirituality is. The form, you can do the form perfectly. And Isa alayhi salam, Jesus came to destroy those ones who are keeping the form, but there is no spirit. Everything they do perfectly, but there is no spirit. And you can, because this spirit now is something that is inside. You know, and the masters, they know, but you can fool people. But if you don't have that proper spirit, nothing is going to be accepted from you. It's not going to be accepted. It's very dangerous. So now, shaitan, our enemy, 4 enemies. First is our nafs, that Allah has also given us the power to be able to step on our ego, sending prophets and saints and sheikhs and books, intelligence to teach us what is our ego. Shaitan, understanding who shaitan is not an enemy to Allah, he is an enemy to us, because he's saying, because of you I disobey Allah, and Allah threw me out from divine presence. And I say, because you have thrown me out, and I will be in your displeasure, and I will end in your displeasure, which is hell, then I'm going to drag as many children of Adam as possible. They are the cause of my downfall. I'm going to bring them to hell. And Allah gave him that power, his divine wisdom. He gave him that power. And the Quran is saying, I allow you to do that. I give you that power. But only to those who wants to be with you. Those who don't want to be with you, you cannot touch them. Now we're talking about irada. We're talking about a will. Nothing in this world, in creation, has a will. Everything Allah has programmed, that's not a will. But Allah is the only one who has a will. But Allah has given a small will to mankind. We have part of that divine will. We can choose. We can do this or we can do that. This is what makes us special. This is what makes us to be able to understand Allah and His will. No one can say, I don't know what you want from me. It's very irresponsible to say that. It's very childish. So now you have a will. How are you going to use that will? Allah allows. Don't you see the sun is still shining to sinner and to saint, believer and unbeliever? There is a general mercy that falls to everyone. Shaitan, because of his jealousy to the children of Adam, because Allah has created us in the most perfect form, in ahsani taqwim, knowing that mankind will occupy that maqam al-mahmud, that most praised station, special to Allah. From that jealousy, he turned against. One word he said against to Allah, everything that he did is thrown back to his face. Now what about us? How much we have to fear? But how much mercy Allah has given us. So Shaitan, and Allah is saying in Surah Yasin, did I not warn you? Yasin is a chapter in the Quran which is regarded as the heart of the Quran. Everything in creation has a heart. Everything. It has a heart. And the heart of the Quran is in this chapter of Yasin. 2 letters, Yasin. One of the most important verses is Allah saying, have I not warned you? Have I not told you, O children of Adam, not to worship Shaitan, because he is an open enemy? Yes? We are in enemy territory. We're not at home. And the people who are in tasawwuf, in Sufism, if Allah is talking about an open enemy, then what about the hidden enemy? The enemy that is inside. Which one is more dangerous? Enemy outside or the enemy that is inside? If you're concentrating on the enemy outside, you may build the strongest fortress, yeah? But your back door is open. Your back door is open, it means nothing. People who are spending so much time worshipping and doing good deeds, but they're doing it for the wrong reason, to show off. They're doing it for people to clap. They're doing it for an ulterior motive, not sincerely. Shaitan just enters from the back door, takes everything away. It's finished, it's done. Hawa, our desires, and this dunya, this world. And again I'm saying, when we say about this world, we are not talking about what? The whales and the redwood forests and the oceans and the this. We're not talking about that world. We're talking about how man, in his appetite for this world, the gold and the silver is not inherently evil in themselves, but how we are now taking this and thinking that it is all for us. We don't want to share. It belongs to us and we want to live forever. What does a man do then in that situation? When he worships this dunya, this world, and the desires of this world and the pleasures of this world, he starts worshipping himself. He thinks that he is a God. He thinks that he is a Lord. He thinks he is above right and wrong. He thinks that anything he desires, anything that his heart is moving towards, he must take. This is very bad. It's very evil. So, these 4 enemies. You understand? So, we want safety from the enemies inside first. Shaitan is outside. He cannot enter until we open the door. There's no permission for him to enter unless we open the door. When we invite, then he comes. So, we are not claiming that we are good, we are holy. This is every fighter who is fighting. It'd be very foolish for him to think that he's the best, because he will always fall. But you always want to fight first against ourselves and our egos for safety. Yes, from ourselves. Then slowly it starts to spread a little bit individually, families, small communities. It begins like that. It always does. And for us, it doesn't matter if this world is going to end tomorrow or for another 1,000 years. Our eyes are not in this world. Our eyes are in this other world, the real one, that is pre-eternal and is post-eternal. This world is going to end. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.